Okay, in this video, I want to show you something that I found. I want to show you a hidden code, if you will, that I found. It's a two-piece thing. So first I'm going to explain the first piece, and then I'm going to explain the second piece. Then I'm going to show you how they're connected. So we all know by now that the three eclipses, 2024, April 8th, 2023, annular, and 2017, the Great American Eclipse across America, forms an Aleph, and it also forms a Tav. The Aleph is the first letter in the Paleo-Hebrew alphabet, and the Tav is the last letter, hence the first and the last. And it's interesting because Jesus said, I am the Alpha and the Omega. Those are two letters in Greek, the first and the last letters in Greek. He said, I am the beginning and the end, the first and the last. So we have this heavenly sign above America. Now my question is this. Is this the sign of the Son of Man talked about in Matthew chapter 24? Interesting. Matthew 24, we're in 2024. And the 24th letter of the alphabet is what? It is the Ta, the X. I know there's a little shininess right there. You can't see it. And I'll read you the verse. Now this is Matthew 24, verse 30. It says this. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. So we know the sign of the Son of Man is in heaven. It's a heavenly sign. And again, we have the Aleph and the Tav, the first and the last. That's what Jesus said. I am the first and the last. So is this the sign of the Son of Man? It says this. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Okay, that's the first part to this. Now the second part to this is very interesting. It's profound to me. Something that I found a while back. And that is in the very next verse, Matthew 24, verse 31. And this verse is talking about, again, the rapture. And I'll read it real quick. It says this. And he shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Now, the way that this is profound is that if you do a day count from the Feast of Trumpets last year, which was September 15th, to this eclipse again, connecting it to the eclipse, April 8th, it's 206 days. The number 206 in the Strong's Concordance Greek is akron. So the day count is 206 for Feast of Trumpets to April 8th eclipse. 206 in the Concordance is akron. And this word, akron, is only used 4 times in the KJV. 2 of the times it's used in the Gospels to describe the rapture. And can you guess where it's used? It's used in the very next verse right here, Matthew 24:31 that I just read you. And it means the end. Now, that's interesting because we have the X, which is the end, right? But in this reference, it's referring to the ends of the earth. When the angels gather God's elect from the one end of heaven to the other, that's the word akron. So the profound thing to all this is the connection. In the 2 verses describing the rapture, Matthew 24:30 and verse 31. We have possibly the sign of the Son of Man in verse 30, happening on April 8th. Then we have a day count from the Feast of Trumpets to April 8th. 206 uses the word akron with this day count phenomenon, which is used in the next verse, 31, talking about the ends of heaven. So this day count and the sign of the Son of Man all connected to the April 8th eclipse. And they're one after another. Verse 30, verse 31. I don't know for sure that this is the sign of the Son of Man. And the day count is just a very interesting, very, very, very profound connection to the April 8th eclipse. I mean, come on. The odds of this happening, the odds of doing a day count from Feast of Trumpets 2023 to the April 8th eclipse, and then that number, 206, landing on a word used in Matthew 24, verse 31, having to do with the April 8th eclipses, an April 8th eclipse, the sign of the Son of Man, possibly. I mean, how it's connected. The day count and the sign in the heaven connected to April 8th. That's crazy to me. Now, something else to think about, and this is something that I can't prove because I'm not a whiz at, like, stellarium to look at the heavens. But I saw a video, I'll show you it right now, that the guy is saying that on April 8th, the moon and the sun aren't even in alignment. And so he's proposing that it's something else that is passing the sun. Now, he's talking about the planet Nibiru, I think. Well, Nibiru. Well, this is very interesting to me because if that's true, that is also called Planet X. Focus on the X, okay? The whole idea of these eclipses making an X across America. Well, what if it's not the moon that we see that is crossing the sun's path, but it's actually Planet X? You know, we're looking at a rhyme here, right? We're looking at a pattern. All of this hype about X. Elon Musk changed the name to X for, Twitter, I think it was. We have this X Eclipse. X is the 24th letter in the alphabet. We're in 2024, which is also the year of the dragon. Elon Musk launches these rockets or satellites called the Dragon or the Dragon 2. I mean, it's all here. So I'll show you this video. I just wanted to plant that seed out there so that it's, an idea. Because I'll tell you what, there might not be something happening on April 8th, but this year there's going to be a lot of stuff happening. A lot of stuff. So take a look at this video, and maybe if you know stellarium or whatever, you can look at the heavens yourself. Going back to Elon Musk for a second and the Dragon rocket, or was it a satellite? I'm not sure. I know it was called the Dragon, but that is called from his company or whatever, SpaceX. All these X's. This is the year.
That being that the sun and the moon are not actually due to align during this total solar eclipse. And if you notice on any star maps or even sky view in itself, if you fast forward to where the actual eclipse is, you'll notice that they are not in alignment. So could it be Planet X, aka Nibiru? Who knows? But what I do know is that the sun and the moon have been out of alignment since September of last year. And if the sun is in Pisces, then obviously it won't be an Aries eclipse, now will it? This just adds to biblical proportions, especially when you consider the mentions of wormwood in itself in the past. So could the Anunnaki and Project Bluebeam finally be amongst us? Who knows? But there do happen to be a lot of events occurring in the month of April alone, including 2 broods of cicadas that haven't managed to emerge since 1803, directly in the totality of the total solar eclipse. This is not a normal total solar eclipse, people. Please get in touch with your reality around you, the actual reality that exists around you. There has been many bloodlines that have existed for far too long, with only corrupted intentions of deceiving you further. One deity, under the name of Enlil, wanted to take control of humanity. Enlil, aka Baal, Beelzebub, Nimrod, Zeus. Because it's not hard to comprehend the simple fact that once again, the sun and the moon are not due to actually align during the total solar eclipse. Could that be why there's so many military personnel? Could that be why they're telling people to gather so many supplies? And you might just like to assume that that's just because there's going to be a lot of people there. But in actuality, they've never done this before.